welcome to the Aging Backwards Summit. We have a very special guest today, Ree Dunn. Did I pronounce your last name correct?
Yes, pretty close. Duong.
Okay, awesome. So, Ree is a relationship expert, and she's going to share with us today a little bit about how to age backwards or at least slow the aging process. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ree?
First of all, congratulations for having the summit. Thank you so much, David, for having me here. I'm so excited for you.
Thank
So
you.
a little bit about me is my name is Ree Duong. I am a relationship expert with a training in social work. I started Eternal Love after losing my baby sister to depression just before COVID. And from that moment on, it shook my world upside down. I actually had to look at my 17 years relationship that was unhealthy. And my sister and I always want and dream of creating a sisterhood empowerment business to empower other people. And so, as a legacy to her, I founded Eternal Love, helping single people and couple find fulfilling and lasting relationship.
And tell us a little bit about your former relationship and how it affected your aging process.
In my 17 years relationship, things goes through ups and down. And when it was not going very well, I was telling to my ex-partner, I was imagining my health was really having a major impact. My mental and spiritual was just not, and my physical, I'm a very active person, but when things are heavy, you just feel not motivated to do a whole lot. So that has tremendous impact. Your immune system goes down. I'm always catching some kind of a sickness or some kind of a cold. So I was telling my ex-partner, I was like, I don't like where we're at. I feel like I'm aging faster than normal. I'm Asian. I'm not supposed to age. And ever since I've been out of that relationship, honestly, I get a lot of compliment. A lot of my friends in high schools and stuff, they're like, you look like you're getting younger rather than aging because I'm in a loving and supportive relationship.
And you have a signature program, correct?
I do.
How
My
does that
signature,
work?
yes, thank you so much for that. My signature program is has 96% success rate, and so hopefully it keeps going. But the it's called the Magnetic Love Blueprint. So basically, it helps people through a four-stage phase. I really help people to let go and release of all of their pains and baggages, build more confidence, and how to call in using their feminism as well as their masculine energy to calling in the partner that is aligned to them.
Now, when you say 96% success rate, what do you mean by that?
Well, pretty much every single person that I work with, whether it's men or women in their 20s, 25 to about 70s, yeah, I have a huge gap, has all either ended up being married or in a long-term fulfilling relationship. And most of them are like, I never thought I can actually find or attract in love because I've lost hope. I had bad relationship, 15 years being single. I thought for the rest of my life I'll be living with cats, and they are they are now in a thriving relationship and living their best life. So yes, that's why I say 96% success rate. And I say 96 because I'm always a little bit scared. I have 100% success rate, but I leave the little 4% just in case.
Excellent. Very good. You said you had a four-stage process. Could you tell us a little bit about the four stages?
Yes, absolutely. Through the four stage, I really look at, okay, at the with regards to the person itself, like what are some of the wound, what are some of the generational subconscious belief that's been passed on to you, parents and patterns that you picked up. So we kind of released that, and then we built clarity around that. What is it that you truly want out of a relationship? What are your limiting beliefs with regards to love? Do you think you can actually attract in love, or you say I really want love, but I don't think I'm going to be one of those one, or I'm always the one that the guys date and then they end up marrying the next girl. And so we kind of really work on that. And then we really work on building up your confidence, slowly building up your confidence in terms of getting healthier physically, because attracting in true love, it starts with first your own self-love. You have to love who you are, love being in your own skin, to being able to be a magnet and calling in that love into your life. So the second stage, we really work on the confidence. And the third stage, we really kind of look in terms of how do I build your profile? How do we connect with the opposite sex? It's a skill set to have. And how do you actually decode men's behavior? I teach all of that. And then the last stage is how do you use your feminine and masculine energy to really step in your level of confidence and calling in the one. And at the same time, is like, how do you sustain that relationship once you land the date and is exclusive in the relationship, maintaining it in the long run?
Interesting. You mentioned something about decoding men's
Yes. Decoding men's behavior, men
behavior.
and women.
I was going to say, as a man, I've never figured out how to decode a women's behavior. Could you give us a little tip on that?
Yes, absolutely. Because women have like we process more with regards to emotion. We talk a lot more. Men's are much more quiet. You guys are more logic. You are more solution focused. We are not so much. We're capable of doing it, but we tend to go with our feeling and what we're feeling at that moment, and our emotion kind of takes over. It takes over the impulse. So for a woman, it's not so much to come and listen to her, like to come to her, but trying to fix her problem. It's really just coming to her and showing, giving her a hug, a little pat, a caress, a kiss on the forehead, and just listen to her. That is what keeps her feeling safe. Her system, her nervous system calms down, and she's able to figure out the solution on her own. A woman would say, no, baby, I'm fine. No, no, no. When she says, baby, I'm fine, you gotta have to dig a little bit deeper. And if you set up the pattern where she feels like it's safe for her to open up, then she'll open up. But don't just always pay attention when she says, no, I don't want that. No, dig a little bit deeper. She might be saying, hinting little thing that she does want it, but she just doesn't want to burden you with some of those stuff.
Yeah, I learned my lesson the hard way in former relationships when someone I was in a relationship with said, "You don't need to get me anything for Valentine's Day," and I didn't.
I
I got
know.
upset and I said, "I just did what you told me." No,
Exactly.
listen to what I mean, not what I say.
I know it's so confusing. Please, girls, don't do that. But I get it's a hard pattern to break. Just really be open to your man because the man will do exactly what you say. Don't tell him, don't buy me a fancy ring. If you want a fancy ring, he'll buy you a lollipop kind of ring type thing. If you said, I just want something very simple. If you want a fancy ring, ask for a fancy ring. If you want something simplistic, say, I want a really simplistic ring.
Great advice. When we talk about health and wellness, fitness, I always think of mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
Very few people think of relationships with others as opposed to a relationship with yourself. Could you delve a little bit into that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, with regards to health, like all our life, when we pass away from this earth, what do we got to celebrate? Is all of the relationship and the connection that we built, right? How much we impact on other people. So the relationship with regards to health really truly start with the relationship we have with ourselves. And the more we can show up for ourselves, the more love we have for ourselves, the more we can pour into other people. And so that's why like loving and having a beautiful relationship with you really highly affect in terms of your level of alertness, energy, motivation, the ability to do things, the ability to be able to want to stay fit, eat well. Like I have never been I was actually just checking myself in the mirror just before coming on this. I'm like, my six packs is looking pretty damn good. I was like, I'm really excited by the end of this year for 2025 for me. I stopped drinking alcohol. I mean, I used to have like an occasional alcohol here and there social type thing. Now I stopped drinking completely and my body is taking shape. So, not that I want to be a physical athlete, I just want to show up loving myself, being confident. I have to say, in my sexual relationship, in my partnership, looking fantastic and loving myself is extremely irresistible to my partner. He wants to be around all of the time. So, you're not doing it for him, you're doing it for you because it feels good for yourself. So, it's a rippling effect all around when you really truly have an amazing relationship with yourself.
That's terrific. That's interesting because, as you know, I just reached 70.
Congratulations. You look fantastic. 70. I wish I could actually look that good at 70.
You will.
I hope so.
And that's what people were saying. Well, what are you looking forward to? And my response is, I'm looking forward to the next decade of being in
Hmm.
excellent health.
Hmm.
And I surprised a couple of my high school classmates and friends when they heard that because they're all thinking about retirement, slowing down.
Yeah.
And that's when people start getting in trouble with their aging process. They age a little
Hmm.
quicker
Yep.
because you get bored,
Yep.
you get a little sedentary, and you stop looking forward to things.
Hmm.
And I think that's important. What do you advise people in relationships to do to keep active or to keep the fire burning, so to speak?
Hmm. It's interesting that you said that. I had a couple of my friends who were a little bit older in their 50s, and they're good friends of me and my boyfriend. And he was just saying, like, age is just a number. I'm like this internal child. We went to like a dance party in the 80s. It was their music, although I know a little bit of the 80s music. But they were vibing and they're like, he was saying, I don't want to be like most of my friends, firemen friends, are like exactly what you were saying, like kind of looking for a lifestyle that's like low and sitting in the TV, watching Netflix and just like, And he's like, I don't want that life. I love going out. I love going to dance. I love being physically active. People, like, I want to be energized. I want to know that 10 years from now that I'm still going to love life just as much and not looking forward to death instead of like kind of like giving up on life. So I agree with you. One of the things that I say in terms of getting to that space, you really need to be able to be well surrounded with people who are gonna lift up your energy. That's why, like, when you're older, being around younger people keeps you young. So that's not the only thing, but being around people that aligns with your value, that gives you this vibrancy that energizes you and going out trying new thing exploring new thing. There's so many amazing stuff in life that you can celebrate. It doesn't have to be the end. Spark, find that thing that lights you up. I don't know if it's like climbing, walking, hiking, walking your dog on a regular basis, a fresh air, the sun. It is so good for you, and I do that with my partner, just walking with our partners or going for a swim, just doing things that really ignites a new experience, new thing to cultivate. Just because we're getting older doesn't mean that life is drawing towards the very end of it. There's so much more to discover and learn about ourselves and learn about other people.
So you were telling us about how to stay in a healthy relationship, keep the flame going, so to speak. We are
Yeah.
talking about aging and people looking forward to retirement as opposed to looking forward to living. Can you continue a little bit more with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that you said continuing living versus continuing to look forward to retirement. Continue living should be the driving force behind life and all of that, no matter what age you are, no matter what process or journey you are. Like currently as a business entrepreneur, helping people with relationship. I mean, the entrepreneurial world is a lot of ups and downs, but I look forward to the journey, to the downtime, to the busy time, to every time. I mean, it took a while before I actually get to appreciate that. And I really want to be able to step into the gratitude. I think as we age too, is having that gratitude toward aging. As we age, we get wiser. Well, at least for most, we would hope so. That's not everybody to actually get to be wiser as they get older. But looking forward to living life, leading the best life, no matter what age you are. There are people I'm seeing inspiration. She's like 75 years old. She always wanted to be like a weightlifting body weight, body
Builder.
competition type thing. Yeah, bodybuilder. Thank you. And she's looking amazing, 75 with like these abs and muscle. I'm like, wow. And she started when she was like in her 60 or something and it's looking amazing. So honestly, you can do anything that you want to. Life should be about that, celebrating and being in gratitude for the life that you have to be able to wake up every single day and your eyes are not closed and you're not dead. So celebrate that.
Yeah, I always tell people there's a difference between existing and
Mm-hmm.
living.
Yep.
And then there's one step further where you're thriving.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
seek to be a person who's thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And as you mentioned, age should not be a factor because the lady is 75, is a bodybuilder in great shape. She started when she was 60.
Yep.
I hiked up Mount Kilimanjaro at age 67. So again, age is not a factor. And
Mm-hmm.
then I met Anne Moore. She set the world record for the oldest person to hike up Mount Kilimanjaro to the summit at age 89.
89. Wow. See? Great example. Congratulations
Exactly.
for you too.
Exactly.
Mm.
So a lot of times people are in marriages, relationships, significant others, and they've been in those relationships, like yours was 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
They may have been married for 20, 30 years, and then for whatever reason, maybe a spouse passes and they
Hmm.
find themselves alone.
Yeah.
And that's when sometimes depression sets in. Sometimes they feel like they lost their love of their life or their soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
What guidance would you have or suggestions for people to start looking, and where should they look to meet other people?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a really good questions. For those who've lost their loved one and or happily, let's say, assume they're in a healthy relationship and lost the love of their life, one of the biggest misconception that I have, like working with people who are older, is that they think, well, I've lost the love of my life. There could be no other love possible. As a matter of fact, you can have many love in one lifetime. I know we want to think that we only have one major love and they're all different and they're all very like I had three different relationship and I look back at them I love them all but I love them all differently in different phases and different time but when I was in that moment I was very much in love with them. Now that I'm in my third relationship I this one is the one that I love the most, but who knows what the future holds for me. And it's the same for the person that loses their partner or their soulmate. The biggest thing that holds them back for when they say, well, I've lost my soulmate, there's no way I can find another one. There's always different people, just different experience and different thing. And you shouldn't hold yourself back from experience what is so beautiful in life that makes it so full. But I want to be able to say that it's okay to grieve. Sometimes we need a grieving process. We need time to be able to process before we move on to the next. But life shouldn't stop just because we lost the love of our life. And I say that to my partner, the day that I die, I hope that you go and meet some amazing looking chick, really cherish you and honor you and really just have an amazing time, like connecting and doing activities and having moments that really brings you guys closer together. But I think it's important to give yourself time to grieve a reasonable time because you do need that grieving process to honor those emotions and to celebrate it and know that your partner that passed away only wants one desire, the desire to see you happy. And the same thing for me, like when I lost my baby sister to depression, I could have stayed down on the ground and like go, why did this happen to me? Life is so unfair. She was like my twin sister. But I do know that she wants the only thing that she ever wants from me is to be happy and to be happy in love because she knows how much I love love. Because I used to watch like all of these romantic movie all of the time, and she doesn't like romantic movie. For her, it's like, she hates that. So I wanted to honor her by making her proud. So make your loved one, your soulmate proud so that they don't have to worry and look from heaven and go, oh my God, and I feel horrible about passing away from an illness for a different reason. But don't force yourself. You just got to give yourself time, but it's possible. And I mean, if I was able to help a lady at the age of 67 found the love of her life, anything is possible. If David was able to climb That mountain at the age of 67 and that lady at age 89. Anything is possible. It's all in here in your head.
Well, if someone's been in a toxic or unhealthy relationship, what would be the first step for them to get healthier?
For one, you definitely need to distance yourself from unhealthy, toxic relationship. You need some cleansing. Like, when you've been in a relationship for a long time, there's a certain pattern, there's their energy that is still a part of you. There's memory that's built into that. So you need to be able to distance and surround yourself by new energy that feeds you, that nourish you again, that gets you reconnected to your source, to your being. So the second step would be rediscovering who you are, your interests, what lights you up in the past, like what brings you life now again. You move a little bit at a time, exploring, doing art, maybe taking on a new activity, like if you used to like playing sport, playing soccer or whatever. Join a community of people who are supportive, who sees the best in you, because when you're in a toxic relationship, your self-esteem goes down, whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you're aware or not. When you're constantly being beaten down by things and gaslighting and telling you're unworthy, you start to believe it's true. So you need to be able to lift that level of self-confidence, that self-esteem again, to believing that you are worthy and you are worthy of happiness, of love, and of good treatment. So, yes, do that. So, self-care, nurture, be kind with yourself.
Well, I'm going to be devil's advocate for a little bit.
Sure. I
Easier
love
said than
it.
done, especially
Absolutely.
people and mostly women in domestic violence, where it's not only physical, it can be emotional,
Yeah.
psychological. And
Yeah.
I say that from experience, being a former divorce lawyer, saw a lot of that. A lot of times I would just tell my client, it'll take 6 months to a year and you'll
Hmm.
feel like a different person.
Yeah.
And if they give themselves permission to realize they don't need that other person and to, like you said, look for other activities, other friends,
Yeah.
other um, things to do, all of a
Yeah.
sudden they start blossoming. And every one of my clients that I had that was going through that was like, wow, a year later, it's like, wow, you're right. I am a different person. So, what advice could you give other than this is what you do? Could you give a little bit of how they could start doing it?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest thing is like the loneliness component, right? Leaving something that is familiar for you. There is this huge desire to go back to what feels familiar. First thing, make a checklist of why, the many reason why you shouldn't go back to that relationship. The things that you think that the person had once have. They're like, let's say for example, take me as a situation when I had my partner, my second partner, the last relationship of 3 years that I was in, the partner left. And it was extremely hard because I had the first 2 years, he was amazing. He was nearly like the Prince Charming of my dreams. So life felt magical. The love story that I have, I was hooked on that dopamine, even though the last year was just disastrous. Your mind, what it does is it blocks out all the bad memories. It only remembers the good memories. So you think, I can go back to this and I can make this work. But it's a false impression. Your memories do not like to recollect bad things. So making a list allows me to, every time I think I want to call him, I want to go and see him again or reconnect in some way, I look at that list to remind myself these are the reason why I should not go back to it. And then you have to challenge the thoughts that you have that this was a great relationship because you wanted to convince yourself it was a great relationship. And I start looking at, okay, well, yeah, he was kind, but what are some of the shitty things that he did? So I remind myself, like when he did this and this is not the quality partner that I'm seeking. And I focus about what is it that I want for my future? And there is a lot of self-control that I need to be able to do I ask myself, do I want to go back to an unhealthy relationship, or do I actually make the commitment for something better? So it's sometimes hard. So ask for your support around you. I asked my friend if I ever feel down and I feel like I want to call him or connect back with him or want to go back to that relationship, can I call you? So I had a couple people that held me accountable. Or when I'm about to text or anything, I would actually text and then delete the text. And if I'm really feeling like I'm gonna do it, I would send that text to my friend and then get him to tell me whether or not I should do that. And then I honor that. It's like a contract that I make with them. And the other thing too is fill up your calendar because loneliness will when you're bored, when you don't know what to do with yourself, you will always go back. So you got to come up with something that fills up your calendar to give you motivation, something to look forward to. The more you're exposed to other people and see better treatment and the way people treats you, the more you're like, well, what I had was actually not good for me. And one of the big things that I found that made me decide to leave my 17 years marriage was when I listened to my intuition. Always listen to your intuition. I went to back to my home country, to my motherland, to reconnect with my source, with who I am, what I was, because I lost my identity in wanting to please my partner, to becoming the ideal what he imagined I was supposed to be. Um, so what I noticed was that on this trip, I didn't know anybody. I went backpacking on my own and I made so much friends from England, from Ireland, from Scotland, from Brazil, from France, all over the mat, from Yemen. And these people treat me better than my actual husband treats me at home. And that was eye-opening. And it makes me sad to think about it when I talk about it. It made me sad to realize a stranger could treat me better than the person that promised to take care of me. And that's what opens my eye and make me realize that when you go out and you connect with other people, that you can actually have a better version of the life that you thought you are currently having now because you don't know anything better. This is all you know. So you think this must be the best, but there's a better version out there.
It's interesting that you bring up loneliness and boredom because those are two things that cause people to overeat and then become
Yes.
overweight and then obese. And then again, it's a cycle
Yep.
because the heavier you get, the more depressed you get, the more you want to eat because you're lonely. Find that fascinating. If people want to reach out to you for some guidance and help, where can they contact you?
Yeah, so they can actually contact me on Eternal Love 43 on my Instagram, or they can actually follow me and my partner on TikTok, Irresistibly Us. We do a whole bunch of educational memes and reels. We really make it light and fun to educate people, and it's just about celebrating people and celebrating our couple and just sharing our knowledge as much as possible. So go find me on Eternal Love 43 or Irresistibly Us.
Do you have a website?
I do. Thank you so much for that. It's called eternallove.net. So all in one word, just like what you're seeing there, eternallove.net. Actually, it's next to my name, re/eternallove.net. That's on the Zoom.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ree, for being our guest today. We're out of time. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you so much, David. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.